Hey guys, it's Celia. So I decided I'm going to start doing story time videos. Now that I'm jumping into the bandwagon, but in my other channel, really old channel, I used to do this type of videos, but I wouldn't call them story times. I would call them either memories of, like, I had like a kind of like a series, like memories episode 1, 2, 3, or they would just be included in my Dear Diaries, or they would just have a random name that had to do with the story itself. Um, so I just decided I'm going to start doing this since I sometimes do share stories on in my Snapchat, and so I just thought it would be fun to have like an actual videos on YouTube. But anyways, so this story is about a guy that gave me an Xbox, and this was last year, but I saw him recently, and then I shared the story on Snapchat. So I was just like, I'm just gonna do a video about it. But yeah, so we're gonna start from the beginning. I usually take Oliver to walk, or I usually take him out to potty out by the entrance of my apartment complex. So this one time I was taking Oliver out, and this an older guy approached me. He's like in his late, probably like early late 50s, Caucasian, gray hair, kind of chubby. Um, and he just like asked for my name, and he said he had seen me before, and then he told me that if I ever needed anything, that I could just kind of like holla at him, and that he lived like in the apartment complex in front of my apartment complex. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever, is nice, I guess. And I don't remember if it was that same day or it was like a few days later. I saw him again, and usually and it's funny because usually when I would see him and I would take Oliver out, I would hear like top top top, like steps, like walking really fast, and then when I return it would be him. So okay, going back, so I saw him again, and then he was like that he had an Xbox that he didn't use anymore, and if I wanted it. And I was like, I don't play video games. And he was like, oh, it's so easy, you just install it to your TV, and it's fun. He was just like, I just figured that you might need it, you might want it, this and that. And I'm like, no, it's fine. I don't play video games, can't play video games, um, for obvious reasons. I didn't say that though, but I was just like, I can't. I was like, I don't play video games. And he was like, just take it and this and that. And then he was like, or you, and then he's like, or you don't have a TV? And I was like, I do have a TV. He was like, because if you don't have one, I have one that I don't really use, and you can have it. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? I'm like, no, it's fine. I don't need it. I don't want it. And then he's like, just wait right here. And he left, and I was like, I didn't know what to do. Like, I didn't want to be mean. Like, I was like, do I leave? Because I feel like that would be even more mean. Like, if I left and then he came with stuff and then I'm not there and he has to go back. Or I'm like, and then like, I don't want to stay there for it because I don't want it. Like, I don't know. It just makes me feel weird. Like, when a guy wants to give you something. I don't know. But then I'm just debating there, like what to do when I see him come, like when he came back, and then he just gave it to me, and he brought it like in this tote bag. Um, it had the Xbox, it had like 5 to 10 video games, it had headphones, it had 2 controllers. Um, I don't remember what really else it had, but it had like stuff inside. So I'm just like, okay, thank you. And then afterwards, I would see him. I would see him pretty much often. And again, like I said, I would just sometimes hear footsteps, like really loud, and then I would turn around and it would be him. Or sometimes I wouldn't even be walking all over. Even if I was going to the store or something, I would just see him like randomly walking. And then you can tell when somebody wants to make a conversation with you. They kind of just like, oh, how are you? And then I'm like really shy. I'm really awkward in person. So I don't like, if you're trying to make a conversation with me, I'm really sorry, but it's not gonna happen because I just don't know how to socialize. Like, I just don't know. Like, it has nothing to do with a person or anything. That's just how I am. So I didn't, so it was just awkward, you know. And then this one time I saw him and he was like, okay, you know, gotta get going. So he's leaving and then he's like, hey Celia. He turns around and I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, if only I were 20 or 30 years younger, you wouldn't get rid of me. I literally was like, what the fuck? And then he laughed and I'm like, no, I didn't know what to do. And then like when I saw him again, it was like so awkward, and he didn't try to make conversation like in the next couple times that I saw him, but he would be like, hey Celia, and it would be just so awkward because he said that, you know. But anyways, I saw him again, but this time I saw him in a car, and he had like sunglasses, and like he honked at me and he was like, hey Celia, and he seemed like he was trying to look all cool and like wanting me to ask him like, oh, you have a new car or something. But I didn't say anything. He just sat there in the car, and I remember there was a car behind him and passed him over, since he was like in the middle of the fucking street. And I'm like, just like in my mind, like, I'm not gonna ask him, like, you can, like, I don't know, I'm just not that type of person, like, oh, like, I could tell, like, he wanted me to ask, but I'm not gonna ask. I don't know, I didn't want to ask, so I didn't. And it was just awkward. I'm just like there, like, and then he's there, like, with his sunglasses, trying to look cool. So then he's like, okay, I'm just gonna get going. I'm like, okay, bye. And then I felt bad because then I was like, oh, maybe he was trying to really just like impress me, or I don't know. And then I'm just like, and I didn't even like seem like, I was just like, so I was like, okay, next time I'm just gonna be a little nicer, maybe just ask a question back, I don't know. So then I see him again, and I'm like I'm like walking the street, and then he's coming like from that side. Let's just say he's coming from that side, and I'm like with my scooter, now with Oliver. And then he's like, how are you doing? And I'm just like, I'm fine, it's just a little cold. And then he's like, oh, I'm sorry you're cold. I'm like, it's fine, how are you? And he's like, and then he's like walking like behind me kind of, and then he's like he's like, what did he say? He was like, I need to fix myself before I fix anyone else. And I'm like, wait, what did I ask? Because sometimes I forget, like, sometimes this happens to me where I'm in the middle of a conversation and I forget what I'm talking about, or or why we're talking about what we're talking about. So I just thought like, oh, that's happening while I'm trying to remember what did I ask. And then it hits me, and I'm like, wait, that doesn't make sense. So then he's like, but then by this time he's like walking over here, and I'm like, eh. And then he's like, I like your smile though, I can tell you that. And then he like pointed at me like that, and I'm just like what the fuck? And it just got me so mad because I was like, okay, I was kind of trying to be a little nicer, and then he's like acting like if I was like hitting on him or something, and he's just like rejecting me, like saying like saying like, oh, I need to fix myself before I fix anyone else. But I like your smile though, I can tell you that. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, then I was like, oh no, next time I'm gonna see him, I'm gonna make him feel embarrassed about what he said. I'm gonna be like, so why did you say that? Do you think I'm hitting on you? Because I'm not. That was so funny that you think that. No, but I was so mad. Like, I was like, why did he say that? Like, why is he acting as if I'm the one like being there, when he's the one who gave me an Xbox, and the one who like said that I wouldn't get rid of him, and then he's pretty much everywhere where I go. And then he's acting as if I'm the one hitting on him. It's just so fucking hilarious. And then my scooter didn't work, so I couldn't really go out anymore, and I didn't see him anymore. And so my anger kind of I wasn't mad anymore. And then I saw him like a week ago. I was going to get some burgers, And it was just so awkward because he was coming, like, he was walking towards me and I was walking towards him, and he was just like, he didn't even say my name, so like real fucking awkward. And yeah, that's just the story of the guy who gave me an Xbox and then acted as if I was the one hitting on him.